Nancy Mace seems to have rented a luxury Sprinter van, gone to Waffle House, stopped at Wawa. Let's take a look here at us2.
Oh, wait, is she on it?
She made it. What time is it? 9 o'clock? 8:45? 8:52. She made it an hour to go to the vote.
So she stepped out there in her jammies and posted another compilation of the entire trip. I just want to say, Nancy Mace, you should maybe leash your dog. That's just an idea. But Mark, she seems to have made it. On the other side, Hakeem Jeffries was posing with his baseball bat. This is an incredible picture. I don't know if you saw it. Look at him go. There he is. America's minority leader. Also America's sweetheart, Hakeem Jeffries, posing with his baseball bat. He's ready to do battle over the one big, beautiful bill that looks right now like it's on course to pass. Republicans met with Donald Trump today. He seems to have persuaded them in the White House. Do you have thoughts, Mark, on how Republicans ended up getting to a yes ultimately after literally months of tug of war?
Well, first of all, Nancy Mace is such a free spirit. She makes you look like Tag Romney.
Tag Romney. That is such an obscure reference at this point, Mark.
I was going for someone who's like, kind of uptight and, straight-laced. Nancy Mace, man. Not quite breaking news, but news update. The bill's now in some trouble. So if you'd asked me an hour ago to give you my analysis of how the president got his way, I would say here's an incredible tale of perseverance, strategy, coordination, appeal to American highest values. But now it may go down. So now it's a different story. There's some things about a president trying to get an important piece of legislation passed that's kind of linear and textbook and predictable. And then some of it's kind of mysterious alchemy and mystical confusion. And that's what's going on right now. They're voting, not the final vote, but they're voting on the so-called rule, the question of it's kind of a procedural vote about whether to go forward. And last I looked at my phone a few minutes ago, they weren't getting there. There were already enough votes to kill it. Now, if they kill it, it's kind of like Freddy Krueger. It doesn't mean it's dead forever. It can still come back, but it's not on the glide path right now. And we'll have to see. They may decide to go home and continue again tomorrow. But I had said this morning, because I'm about full disclosure and accountability, I had said this morning there was a 6% chance it will fail, and that means it might fail, and it might.
Yeah, right now from the New York Times, the Republican holdouts are ultra-conservatives, according to the Times, who are concerned that the Senate bill would add to ballooning federal deficits and did not do enough to cut spending. But one of those yet to vote is Representative David Valledo of California, who has expressed deep reservations about voting for the Senate version of the bill because its cut to Medicaid are deeper than those passed by the House.
Yes, and one of those who's already voted no is not a super conservative. He's one of the most moderate House Republicans, Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, who is one of the, I think, 3 House Republicans who represents a district won by Kamala Harris. And he voted no on the rule, the procedural vote, and it's being interpreted that he would vote no on the bill. So people can change their mind. And as you were monologuing, I was multitasking. I was breathlessly listening to everything you said, but also following the story on the House floor. They're hoping the Speaker and his team, Speaker of the House, Speaker Johnson, are working to change some of the no's, at least one of the no's, to a yes. And of course, you can do that. And if the vote isn't closed, if other colleagues haven't yet voted, you can change your vote. So they're trying to turn these votes around. If they don't make it, again, it doesn't mean it's dead forever, but it probably means the bill won't pass until you and I get some sleep.
Well, I'm not surprised by that at all, because it seemed like they were stopping short of extracting all of the concessions that they possibly could have, although they're on a really tight deadline here with the 4th of July coming up, and seem to have a good meeting with Trump. I mean, Tim Burchett came out of that meeting feeling really good. Jim Jordan. Yeah,
those guys who might have been no's were yeses. I think Jordan is drifted away from rebel to conformist, but Burchett was a good pickup for them. Part of what's been surprising is, Halperin's 7th rule of Washington? I'm sure you do, which is Congress never acts unless it absolutely has to, and sometimes not even then. And the so-called forcing mechanism. Why are they forcing the House to vote? Why have they convinced almost all the House Republicans to vote now? It is the 4th of July holiday. That's not much of a forcing mechanism. The tax cuts don't expire till the end of the year. There's nothing else in here that must pass this week as opposed to in a couple weeks. So I've always, not always, but since it was clear that they were using this as the forcing mechanism, I was always a little skeptical that this would focus the minds of enough House Republicans to get it passed. And that skepticism should have allowed me this morning to say it was more than 6%. But at least I didn't say zero. I went with the Jim Carrey alternative. So you're saying there's a tiny chance, and there is a tiny chance, and that tiny chance has grown like a sea monkey in a swimming pool.
Sea monkey in a swimming pool. Another fabulous visual, Mark. And they have been able to, I mean, the 6% number isn't crazy to me at all because they've had so much momentum. Like, actually, the serious point about the Nancy Mace video is that she was showing there she's very excited and proud to vote for the big, beautiful bill because a lot of people see it as a great deal for their districts. And a lot of people in swing districts see it as a really significant political liability, given what it does to all of these different entitlements. Now, obviously, we could talk about how Trump is trying to keep the sort of austerity Elon Musk wing happy while he lost Rand Paul's vote. He wasn't probably going to get it in the Senate, but you have to keep that wing, people who are the hawks, like the Chip Roy, happy while also keeping Susan Collins happy. I mean, it's an incredibly difficult thing. But coming into today, it seemed like they had all the momentum in the world. Mike Johnson was going to get a vote on it. It's 4th of July, then they can go to recess in August and feel fine. The consequence of not passing this, Mark, do you think is potentially it ends up getting even more difficult than it was because when everybody has time to hash things out, they get a lot of different, you end up getting a lot of different conflicts that are less easy to resolve.
Right. So where it stands right now is at least one person who hasn't voted, Chip Roy of Texas, says he doesn't want to vote tonight. He wants them to pull the vote and give them more time to talk stuff through. And they'd still have to turn one of the people who's already voted no. Now, they could do that tonight, potentially, or they could do what Chip Roy wants and call it a night and start the vote over tomorrow. This is one of these situations where people are going to ask me, as you have, and others, what's going to happen? No one knows. No one knows. Because once you start to lose the momentum, and you're right, they had a lot of momentum this morning. Once you start to lose the momentum, it's a difficult thing to stop and reverse the trajectory. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that, as I said, even if it seems dead tonight, doesn't mean it's dead. They can find another way to skin the feline.